Joining us now to discuss this further is former Border Patrol Chief and former ICE Director Ron Vitiello. What did you make of the testimony you heard today, Ron? And good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's good to be on the bottom line. Well, I'm glad those chiefs, Chavez and Maudlin, got to get on the record on the Hill in Congress about what they're facing, what they're experiencing. I thought they did a really good job in the sense of representing the difficulty that the workforce is going through. And they didn't try to paper over like the secretary has done, like the president and the vice president have done. They didn't try to paper over what's happening on the border. There are real concerns about what's going on. That's why the department tried to limit who was going to testify, because they wanted to send somebody up there that would carry the water for them for this feckless policy changes that they've made. And so having that uniform represented the workforce very well. I was glad to see it.
And Ron, I think it's interesting that we got in this testimony what we all know, which is the migrants coming across the southern border, they believe that the law changed when Joe Biden took office. And so when Kamala Harris is looking at root causes, she and Joe Biden are the root cause, not economic crises in Central America. That's
100% right. The CBP reported the first quarter of the year, the first quarter of the fiscal year, over 700,000 arrests. Well, about 340,000 of those people were released after a brief stay with CBP. And so this administration has encouraged all of the world, all of the globe, to come to this border now because we had a policy in place called the Migrant Protection Protocols, the Remain in Mexico program, Safe Third Country, which is in U.S. code. It's part of immigration law enforced by the Trump administration with an unprecedented cooperation from Mexico. That stopped the last surge. Day one, they tore it down, and now we see the worst border crisis ever.
And Ron, on that note, in the new Fox News poll, more see border situation as a security crisis than a humanitarian crisis. 47% say it's a national security crisis versus 42%. And this will get worse, will it not? With this new mobile app, that's been a disaster where migrants have to sign up for a mobile app to make appointments to get into the United States. And plus the additional, the places for people coming in from, say, Cuba and Haiti to come in and have parole into the United States, which is illegal. It's legalizing people to come into the United States, which again is overstepping the bounds of the authority of the executive branch.
I agree with you. This is just like what Obama did during DACA. You know, he wrote a memo saying that these people who are in the country under this circumstance are not going to be subject to deportation. This is an abuse of the parole system, right? We want people like in Ukraine, maybe in Venezuela, when they're being persecuted by their government for their religion or for politics, because of their politics, we want people to come to a safe haven in the United States. Nobody wants what's going on at the border to happen except the Democrats, except this White House. They threw off all the control measures that they had, and it's gotten worse every single day, and they've done nothing except, you know, they tried to put a moratorium on deportations. That was raised in the hearing today. They put out a policy that says if you're in the country illegally, they said this out loud, the secretary on television, that if you're in the country illegally, ICE is not going to look for you. They've told the whole world it's time to come, and the world is responding. And we're enriching these cartels in Mexico, and we're destabilizing the sending countries.
Yeah, Ron, listen, I appreciate your insight, and thanks for coming on the show with us tonight. I wanted to get to the State of the Union and Joe Biden, whether he's going to talk about the crisis at the southern border like he did last year.
You can ask it.
No, we're out of time, Ron. But listen, I appreciate you coming in and appreciate all your good work. We thank you for that.